Welcome back here to Mountain Connections. I'm very happy to be joined by a good friend of the station, a good friend of the show. His name is Mr. Bill Humbert. He is Recruiter Guy, and we are here to talk about high-volume recruiting. How are you doing today, sir?
Diego, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, let's get right into it. Define high-volume recruiting. Maybe this is a term that some people may have never encountered before.
Sure. Well, you know, what happens in a lot of companies is they decide that, oh my, we're opening a new call center. We have to hire 100 people right away.
Yeah.
Or construction business, it's summertime. They need a lot of people. And so high volume recruiting is when you have a need for a large group of people over a relatively short period of time.
And logistically, this could be something that could be quite frightening for a management staff, right?
Well, it could, especially if they're not prepared.
And that's the key here always, is to be prepared and to be ready for this.
You have to be ready for this. And you know, one of the ways of being ready is to understand the talent attraction process mirrors the sales process perfectly. And if you go down through the talent attraction process following the sales process, you're going to be much more successful. So for instance, one of the foundation topics in the talent attraction process is the job description.
Job description, absolutely.
And companies typically don't do a really good job with job descriptions. And so the Recruiter Guy's secret sauce is to add the 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month goals. And that's so important because that helps you dial in on exactly who it is you're looking for. And when you don't, here's what happens. You source a group of the wrong people. From that group of the wrong people, you interview a smaller group of the wrong people. From that smaller group of the wrong people, the manager goes, guess this is the best I'm going to get. So they hire the wrong person. But there's some good news. 2 months to 2 years later, they fire the right wrong fit person.
The right wrong fit person.
And then what happens? They pull out the same old job description and start all over again. What possibly could go wrong?
It's the dog biting the tail there completely. It's just a complete circle there, and I see exactly what you mean, because without that job description, you're going to get a lot of people in the position who are either going to be not satisfied in 6 months with the work that they're doing, or they're going to say, this is the exact opposite of the job that I thought I was in, right? You're going to have that same amount of turnover. You're going to have to rehire. So it's important to start from the very beginning to lay out these goals, and you're going to find the people who are going to be able to meet those goals come 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months.
That's right. So you interview against those goals.
And so what tips do you have when you are maybe getting ready to start recruiting in a high volume, besides the sales aspect of it and the goal setting side of things?
Well, you know, one of the things that you can do is, first of all, you need to create a strategy. You know, how are you going to go about recruiting all of these people?
Absolutely.
And once you've recruited, you know, you've developed that strategy, now you can move forward. So, you know, let's talk about construction. This is a construction season. They're beginning to staff up, and they probably already have been staffing up. It's important to understand that no matter how many people you're hiring, you're only hiring one at a time.
That's a great point. Absolutely. You can't look at the group as just a singular thing, right?
Right. It's not just 100 people. It's one at a time. And you have to treat that one person, you have to be focused on that one person, even if it's a production line type of group of people. You have to be focused on them, extend the offer to them, welcome them, and then hopefully you don't have turnover because the managers are doing a great job. In construction, I've actually worked in recruiting for construction. And most of those offices are in industrial parks. And there's thousands of people that drive past their offices. Put a sign up, open house every Friday night, 3 to 7 p.m. We've got food.
That's a great tip. I know food always will bring people in, and then they come in and then they realize, oh wait, I'm here for this is a job opportunity. I may be here to get hired as well.
That's right. So you have your managers there, and you know, 2 or 3, and then the others can be up in the offices. And if they get a call, hey, we're getting hammered down here, come on down. This is great. Then you've got them down there. So it's important to understand something. All those other companies that are around, your company doesn't need to be the one with the openings. It
Absolutely.
could be theirs.
It could be theirs. That's a great point. An open house, that's a great idea. I never thought of it in that sense. I think open house is something we're familiar with in maybe other aspects, but for a job recruiting process, I feel like that's a great way of having, especially a high volume, a lot of people come in to be able to interview at one time. I think you also spoke about something that's very important as well, is being very engaged with your managers, the people who are going to be overseeing this process in the beginning. How is it going to be successful if they are not set up for success?
Diego, that's so true. You know, manager engagement is not an option. They have to be engaged, because if they're not engaged, they're not going to respond to the resumes. They're not going to respond to the screens that the recruiters send.
Absolutely.
And there's a magic of 72 hours. On my LinkedIn site, on my LinkedIn profile, I've written an article, The Magic of 72 Hours. After 72 hours, candidates start thinking, oh, are they not interested in me?
It's true. And I mean, chances are the candidate is not singularly applying to your position. They have probably a lot of resumes out there at the same time. You're competing for this person a lot of the time. So you want to be able to get the right people at the right time.
That's right. Exactly.
And if you wait for too long, you're going to leave them guessing. And if you do, as you say, call back maybe after 72 hours, chances are that person may have accepted a position at another place.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I really stress to the managers I'm recruiting and supporting that you got to get back to me within 72 hours.
So is it important with them as well to not only get back to the recruiter in 72 hours, but to also have a uniform plan with what the recruiter is going along with, to be sure that they are saying these 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month goals in the interview process and in the meetings and in the hiring processes?
Well, even into after they hire the person, during their one-on-ones, address the how are you relative to your 3-month goals? How are you relative to your 6-month goals? So that at the end of the year for the annual review, there's no surprise.
Yeah.
They made them, they didn't make them, you know why, and you know why not. And it may be legitimate.
Yeah, that's great. And as you say, that will also help to inform your future recruiting processes as well. So it's an important thing to not, as we say, keep this kind of revolving door, this process going of complete turnover. It's something that you can easily fix with just a few tips. So Bill, thanks again so much. Always bringing in some great tips. Got to ask you though, before we go, what's new for you right now? Do you have any lecture series or anything going on?
Well, I've something really exciting. I just signed a contract with a cybersecurity firm out of Silicon Valley to recruit for them.
Excellent, congratulations.
Thank you. So I have 2 openings right now. They're public sector sales managers, and those openings, the targeted comp is $200,000 a year.
You heard that first here. Definitely contact Mr. Bill Humbert if you are interested in those positions. Bill, where can people get a hold of you and find out more?
Recruiterguy.com, and my email is recruiterguy@msn.com.
Excellent. Bill Humbert, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you on, always sharing some great expertise. Be sure and head over to his website, Bill Humbert, recruiterguy.com, recruiterguy.com. There you can find more information about his book and everything else that's going on. We'll be right back with much more right after this short break.